as the allegations against Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin unfolded in a federal insurance fraud lawsuit filed in late 2024. Once a respected orthopedic surgeon in Manhattan's elite medical community, Dr. Hostin now stood accused of orchestrating a scheme so audacious it read like a plot twist in a crime novel. The lawsuit, brought by American Transit Insurance Company, targeted not just him but nearly 200 defendants, painting a picture of a sprawling conspiracy that exploited New York's no-fault auto insurance laws for millions. For Sunny Hostin, his wife and a beloved co-host of The View, the fallout was nothing short of a personal and professional earthquake, threatening to crack the polished veneer of her public persona and drag her into a scandal she never saw coming. Dr. Hostin's career had been a beacon of success. Known for his skill with a scalpel, he operated on high-profile clients, athletes, executives, and the city's well-heeled elite, building a reputation as a healer in a gleaming white coat. His practice thrived in the competitive world of New York medicine, where precision and trust were currency. But beneath this pristine exterior, prosecutors alleged, lurked a calculated operation that turned his surgical expertise into a cash machine. The complaint claimed he performed unnecessary arthroscopic surgeries on patients who barely needed a band-aid, let alone invasive procedures, targeting victims of minor car accidents, taxi, Uber, and Lyft drivers insured by American Transit. Fraudulent billing followed, with inflated claims submitted to the insurer, and kickbacks flowed back to him, allegedly disguised as dividends from his financial stake in Empire State Ambulatory Surgery Center. The numbers were staggering. American Transit sought over $153 million in damages, with the potential for triple that under RICO statutes, marking it as one of New York's largest civil fraud cases in recent memory. Sunny Hostin, meanwhile, had carved out her own spotlight. A former federal prosecutor turned television personality, she became a fixture on The View, known for her sharp intellect, fearless opinions, and a moral clarity that resonated with viewers. Her brand was built on ethics, calling out injustice, championing equality, and holding power to account. Married to Manny since 1998, they'd raised 2 children and cultivated a life of luxury. Sprawling properties, designer wardrobes, and annual Disney World vacations that reflected their shared love of family and fairy tales. But as the lawsuit against her husband gained traction, that idyllic image began to fray. Though Sunny wasn't named as a defendant, the public couldn't help but wonder. How could someone so astute, so detail-oriented, not have noticed the machinery of fraud allegedly humming under her own roof? The legal battle kicked off on December 17, 2024, when American Transit filed its suit in the New York Eastern District Court. The insurer accused Dr. Hostin and his co-defendants of exploiting a system designed to protect accident victims, turning it into a loophole for profit. New York's no-fault insurance laws guarantee medical coverage regardless of who's at fault in a crash, a noble intent that prosecutors said became a goldmine for unscrupulous providers. Patients with whiplash or bruises from fender benders were allegedly ushered into operating rooms for shoulder or knee surgeries they didn't need, each procedure a ticket to bill thousands to the insurer. The complaint detailed a web of financial incentives. Dr. Hostin reportedly had a stake in the surgical centers where these operations took place, creating a perverse cycle of self-enrichment. Kickbacks, masked as legitimate investments, kept the scheme rolling, while American Transit claimed it was left footing the bill for a fraud that spanned years. Dr. Hostin's legal team pushed back hard. Through statements to outlets like the Daily Mail, his initial attorney, Daniel Thwaites, dismissed the allegations as a blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit, suggesting American Transit was a struggling insurer desperate to dodge its obligations. By January 2025, a new lawyer, Kurt Lundgren, took over, securing an extension until February 10 to respond. Reports indicated settlement talks were underway, with 141 of the 186 defendants reaching deals by late January, though Dr. Hostin's status remained unclear as of April 10, 2025. No criminal charges have been filed against him yet, but the civil case alone carried enough weight to tarnish his name and send shockwaves through his personal life. For Sunny, the scandal hit like a tidal wave. In early January, she issued a defiant statement, standing by her husband and slamming American Transit for what she called a disgusting media smear campaign. She accused the insurer of exploiting her celebrity to amplify the case, vowing a $5 million defamation countersuit if they didn't retract their claims and pay for Manny's services. "This is about an insurance company trying to avoid paying what they owe," she declared, her tone echoing the fiery resolve fans knew from The View. But as the weeks wore on and evidence mounted, financial records, patient testimonies, and the sheer scale of the alleged scheme, her public defense grew quieter. By the time settlement rumors surfaced, She'd retreated from the spotlight on this issue, leaving observers to speculate about the toll it was taking behind closed doors. The public reaction was a wildfire of opinions, especially on platforms like X. Fans of Sunny rallied to her side, arguing she was being unfairly dragged into her husband's mess. "She's being crucified for something she didn't do," one supporter posted. "This is what happens when a strong black woman dares to speak out. People look for any way to tear her down." Others weren't so charitable. "No way she didn't know," another user wrote. "You don't live in multimillion-dollar homes without asking where the money comes from." The lifestyle Sunny and Manny enjoyed, properties in Manhattan and beyond, a love of luxury that wasn't shy, became Exhibit A for skeptics. How could a prosecutor-turned-TV star miss the signs, they asked, especially one who'd spent years dissecting legal cases on air. At ABC, the scandal rippled through the corridors of The View. Insiders described it as a big thing at the network, a headache for executives already navigating the show's reputation for controversy. Sunny's co-hosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Alyssa Farah Griffin, hadn't publicly addressed the lawsuit on the program, but the tension was palpable. Her clashes with Alyssa, a conservative foil, were a known quantity, often sparking viral moments over politics or social issues. Some speculated Alyssa might relish the chance to call out Sunny's predicament, given their history, though no such confrontation had aired by April. The network seemed to be holding its breath, weighing whether to stand by Sunny as they had through past storms or distance themselves if the scandal deepened. Her absence from a few episodes fueled rumors of a suspension, though ABC chalked it up to family time, a plausible excuse, but one that didn't quiet the whispers. The lawsuit itself was a labyrinth of legal complexity. RICO cases, with their roots in combating organized crime, are notoriously intricate, and this one was no exception. American Transit's complaint painted Dr. Hostin as a cog in a machine that involved dozens of doctors, clinics, and billing entities, all allegedly working in concert to defraud. The insurer claimed it had evidence, billing records, surgical logs, witness statements, showing procedures performed on patients with no medical justification. One example cited a driver with a minor shoulder strain who underwent arthroscopy, a procedure typically reserved for severe injuries, followed by a $10,000 bill to American Transit. Multiply that by hundreds of cases, and the money piled up fast. Dr. Hostin's supposed financial ties to Empire State Ambulatory Surgery Center added another layer, suggesting he profited twice. Once from the surgeries, again from the kickbacks. His defense leaned on a counter-narrative, that American Transit was the real villain, a company teetering on insolvency and lashing out at providers to avoid payouts. New York's no-fault system has long been a battleground, with insurers and medical professionals trading accusations of fraud and bad faith. Dr. Hostin's team argued he'd provided legitimate care, that the surgeries were medically necessary, and that the insurer's lawsuit was a fishing expedition to smear honest doctors. Settlement talks hinted at a possible resolution, but as of now, the case remains unresolved, a slow grind through the courts that could stretch into 2026 or beyond. For Sunny, the personal stakes were as high as the professional ones. Sources close to the couple described a household under strain, with Sunny reportedly furious at the damage to her career. "She's always been the moral compass of The View," one insider said. "This undermines everything she's built." Her on-air persona, lecturing America on justice, inequality, and accountability, now faced a mirror held up by critics. Had she turned a blind eye to Manny's dealings? Was she complicit, knowingly or not, in the fruits of his alleged fraud? No hard evidence has emerged to implicate her, but in the court of public opinion, evidence often takes a back seat to optics. The couple's wealth, their Disney devotion, Sunny once said she was bred for it, with Aladdin's A Whole New World as her parents' wedding song, and her own legal background fueled the narrative that she should have known. The broader implications loomed large. If Dr. Hostin's case ends in a settlement or, worse, criminal charges, it could chill Sunny's tenure at The View. ABC has weathered controversies before, Roseanne Barr's exit, Meghan McCain's clashes, but this one struck at the show's core, a host whose credibility was her currency now tangled in a scandal of greed. Some wondered if it was being weaponized against The View itself, a platform conservatives have long criticized as a liberal echo chamber. "They've been gunning for it for years," one industry observer noted. "This is their ammo." As of April 10, 2025, the story is far from over. Dr. Hostin's fate hangs in the balance, Sunny's silence speaks volumes, and the public watches with bated breath. Was she unfairly targeted, A bystander caught in her husband's crossfire? Or did she miss or ignore red flags that a prosecutor should have seen? The truth lies buried in legal filings and financial trails yet to be fully unearthed. For now, the scandal is a Rorschach test of loyalty, skepticism, and the messy intersection of fame and family. What do you think, innocent victim or knowing participant? The courtroom, and perhaps the View's Hot Topics table, will eventually tell.